So this weekend I was at drill because I'm in this thing called the Air Force, and it's basically where I drive 2.5 hours down. I learn a few things about what Air Force boot camp is like, and I spend the rest of my time talking with people in my unit or just other people who happen to be on base. I eventually got in a conversation with a guy who was in my unit who's been there for like 10 plus years. This is the point where we take all of the people who are in training and you come to your unit and you talk to the people who've been there forever who have experience. But I have an intel job, which basically means it's classified and I can't know anything about my job. And the people who tell me that is the US government, so I really can't talk about my job or I'll go to, I don't know, jail. So this guy was talking to me about how a lot of this job is public speaking. It's a lot of presentations, a lot of presenting information to the people around you. And he looked at me and he said, from the little conversations that I've had with you, you seem very good at public speaking or just knowing how to speak to people. And I didn't really know how to take that at first. I saw that as a compliment, but I've never seen myself as like an overly confident person. And then on the drive back, I wrote a script for this video, and yeah. And I say wrote a script, I wasn't typing and driving, I was doing like the voice text and driving. So I'm a responsible driver, okay? I never really sat down and thought about, okay, why am I confident? Like, what are some things or characteristics that I have developed that have made me a more confident person? So I'm going to give you 5 different things that I have learned through the last few years of my life that have made me a far more confident person within talking with people and just who I am as a person and being confident within myself too. So let's get started with that. I would definitely say the first thing that has made me a more confident person is developing new skills. It is having more things that you are capable of doing within a day-to-day life. I think for people it is essential to have a wide range of things that you are capable of doing and being able to have different skills and assets at your disposal to get certain tasks done or to do certain things that you like. And with those things, you're able to build conversations from them and be more confident in the fact that I can do these things and I can tell other people about these things. I would say a skill that I got through this is music, not necessarily music itself because I am not good at making music at all, but the public speaking element of it, the getting people in a room and excited for something that maybe I or them didn't even understand at the time, but the fact that I was able to build anticipation and hype for something that wasn't that impressive, but still, I got very good at being comfortable with speaking in front of a large crowd, something I have had to develop over the last few years and something that's like throughout time like vaguely like came back, and I have more confidence with that from this experience of getting the really hard task of speaking in front of my entire school, and now you give me a crowd of 20 people and it's like it's nothing at that point. I'd say another thing would be like bodybuilding, for instance, being able to get on stage and be able to do a show and whatnot, and something I that carried over from music that translated to here, but also from my peers on how do I actually gain weight, how do I like appear on stage, like what are some things that I do to impress judges, you know? But it's things that I developed from people who've taught me, of course, but these are skills that I wanted to learn, I did learn, and I used effectively in one way or another. Some other things could be traveling or learning a new language. I'm learning Indonesian right now. My girlfriend's originally from there, and it'd be cool to, once I actually go there, kind of have an idea as to like the environment I'm going to be in, the people I'm going to be talking to in their own language, and it'd be kind of cool just to learn something different too. But this wide array of different things has helped me sharpen my skills as a person and has given me more things that I'm capable of doing. And knowing that you are capable of doing more things, you feel more confident in the fact that you have these different things that you can back yourself on. And it doesn't have to be, I'm not sitting here and I'm telling you, hey, you got to do music, you got to do bodybuilding, you got to learn a language, you got to travel. It can be anything. But it's having different skill sets under your belt is what is really important and what I'm trying to get at with this statement here. The second thing I have here is, it's something you're going to have to hear me out on, but I'm going to explain here, is learn how to dress. I think fashion as a skill is very important for not just me as a guy, but just for anyone else in this world to get a sense of, okay, what do you like? What are you interested in? What types of clothes? What style? What fabrics? What whatnot? And really get a sense of what these things are and be able to build an effective wardrobe on it, because the way in which you appear to other people is telling a story within itself. It's very easy to tell what a person is like based on the way they dress, based on the styles they wear, what specific pieces do they have. It's so essential to a person's everyday life, and we don't often think about it for the most part. And when I say learn how to dress, I am not stating go to TikTok, go to Instagram, go to Pinterest, and just copy an outfit there. To me, that's a lot like cheating on a test. You can do that for inspiration, but the goal is to take that inspiration and to make it your own. If you're simply copying what everyone else is doing, then you're just blending in with the rest of the crowd. It's a good thing to build your own unique style, to have something different to you, and that will allow you to be more confident knowing that this is something I created, not something I got from somewhere else. And what I mean by learning, it's more or less just understanding how colors, shapes, textures, that sort of thing works, and how you're able to build a wardrobe based on knowing how these things work, how you can contrast this piece with this piece, and so on and so forth. If it's something you want me to make a video on later, I would be happy to do so. I would love to talk about it more in depth here, but for the sake of this, it's something that I think is essential for a person's confidence, and the fact that the way in which you appear to other people on like a first impression, or just in this instance, says a lot about who you are, your intentions, and so on and so forth. This third thing I have down is something that I know personally I'm not very good at, but it's still something I wish to get better at, and I'll kind of explain here, is speaking with intent, is using your voice effectively, the range, the way in which you speak, the words you speak, and things of that nature that portray yourself to those around you. I say I'm not good at this because I have a very good habit of speaking monotone. As I do right now, I am kind of in the same frequency the whole time. Like, I sound like similar through each word. I don't really have a good way of enunciating my voice, just because of how deep it is naturally. And it's very easy for me to sound uninterested or like disconnected from a conversation, and that's not my intent, but it's just kind of the way in which I come across sometimes. It's kind of a niche thing to me, but maybe it's something like other people are able to pick up on, is that I don't like cuss words. I don't like when people use it in a conversation, and to me it shows a sign of like insecurity or inability to say other things. My parents always used to tell me that people who say cuss words do so because they can't think of anything else to say, so they resort to those words to fill in those points. And I think that's something I've been able to carry out within my day-to-day life. I had this habit where I would say that I'm using cuss words because it's funny in some contexts, and then I would just build a habit of saying cuss words, and I've kind of fizzled that out, but still something to think about nonetheless. I feel like your choice of words is also something that's kind of tricky to get good at. So I have a huge tendency of oversharing information, I'd say, or like I get to a specific conversation very quickly because I kind of just want to share this point or share that point a lot more. And I feel like it's easy for me to get on a side tangent with something without like reading the room effectively. So, and I'm saying this mostly because I know I'm not perfect at this topic, but I still think it's something to preach upon, just to you, but also to myself, as just something that I think I should get better at too. But the bottom line that I want to get at is that getting good at speaking to others and the way in which you speak to people says a lot about who you are. And to be effective and good at the way in which you speak to those around you, you're going to be more confident from knowing that you can effectively talk to someone if need be. So the fourth thing I have written down here is avoiding negative self-talk, as I believe the way in which you speak to yourself ultimately will bleed into the people around you. It's in a lot of ways kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in and of itself. Say for instance that I think everyone around me just hates me for whatever reason, right? Because I believe that people hate me, I'm going to develop characteristics that are going to make me believe that these people hate me, so if they hate me, why should I like them? Because there's already a disconnect there, so why should I try to fix it or entertain the idea? Just shut it out, it doesn't matter. These people don't like me, so I'm not going to entertain it at all. Even if that's not even true. But because you have that notion, you're going to start building characteristics that makes you believe that people don't like you, and as a result, people are not going to like you, because you ultimately believe in something that may or may not be true, but because you have that internal like belief of that, it will manifest itself in one way or another. I have found for me that it is a good way to avoid things such as anxiety and depression, which is kind of a different topic in and of itself, but still something I have been able to avoid throughout my life through just kind of avoiding the negative talk with it in and of itself. And I know that's kind of a rabbit hole that I am not really like prepared for this video, but it's something I will get into in a later video perhaps. I think it's easy for people to not believe in themselves in certain assets of their life, and that because I don't feel this way, I can't do this thing. And your mental game and the way in which you think about and talk to yourself is everything, as it's the way in which you're going to carry yourself in everyday life. You know, you are the most essential asset to yourself, and you have to be able to be nice to yourself. You know, you have to know how to speak to yourself, and the things that you say to yourself will bleed out into those around you, and that's the biggest thing I have for this point here. I think we all just have to remind ourselves that we are human beings, we're not perfect, and because of that, we have to accept the fact that we do on some level have limitations. We should be nice to ourselves, and in doing so, you will develop more confidence in the fact that if I can be nice to myself, I can be able to be nice to others, have a conversation with others, because I know how to do that with myself. You can't really say that you can do things for other people if you can't do them for yourself, first and foremost. The fifth and final note that I have for this kind of falls in line with the last point a little bit, is being true to who you are as a person. I think it's easy for people to say that I don't really know who I am, so I can't have like full confidence in who I am as a person. And that's not really what I mean by that. What I really want to get at is that you have to accept the fact that you are a human being, and that one day you are going to die. Whether you like that or not, that is something you have to accept, that someday everything that you know around you will be gone. So knowing that, why not live your life to the absolute fullest? Because you don't have another lifetime for this. At some point, your days will be over. You don't have forever for this thing that you want to do. So if you're going to do something, you might as well take the time to invest in it now and build yourself as a person, because this is the only life you get. I feel like I have accepted the fact that my life is on a timer, that I'm going to die at some point. I don't know when that could be, but I know one day it's going to happen. And because of that, I am motivated every day to be true to who I am, to do the things that I wanted to do, not care if I embarrass myself or mess up or screw up time and time again, because that's going to happen, because I'm a human being and I know that's a possibility. I only get one shot at this, you only get one shot at this, and at the end of the day, me and you deserve to be happy with the fact that this is not going to be a permanent thing. The way in which we have accepted the world around us will be something different at one point or another. I'm a Christian, so I have my beliefs on that. I could be completely wrong, you know. I don't know that. That's kind of something you have to grapple with yourself, and maybe something I'll get into in a different video. But the point is that this reality that you're used to, this flesh and blood that I have, is not permanent. And because of that, I have to accept the fact that this is my one life. This is all I have, so I'm going to live it to the absolute best. I'm going to do the dumb things that I want to do. I'm going to live the life that I'm proud of. I shouldn't be scared to embarrass myself. I shouldn't be scared to try to mess up or try to succeed at something. I shouldn't settle for anything less, because this is all I have. And I think everyone else should develop that same belief at some point in their lives. Being alive is such a valuable gift that we do not pay attention to all the time because we're so used to it ourselves. But I think we have to be confident and be proud of the fact that we are human beings, and that we are able to exist and have life and question the whys of our world around us, and to grow and to build connections and to do unique and different things and not have to worry about survival to the fullest extent. We get to have passions, hobbies, interests. We have the ability to do these things, so we should use it as such. But for the sake of you and for everyone else around you, Be proud of who you are as a person. It's the only life you have. You will be far more thankful from it, and so will everyone else around you. With that, that's the end of the video. I want to thank you guys if you watch this all the way through, and leave a like or a comment or whatever you do. Doesn't matter to me. If there's something I talked about in this video that you want me to express on in a different video, I'd love to hear insight or just something different. But with that, that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of your day.